Hello everyone, welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And if you want to spend your wine dollars wisely, and it's Washington Wine Month, it's getting to be the last week of Washington Wine Month, one way to do it is to figure out second labels. In other words, wineries, a lot of wineries have a second label which is lower priced than their first label. A classic example is Woodward Canyon, which, you know, they're cabs. Their Chardonnays go for quite a bit of money. They have a second label called Nelms Road. Sleight of Hand Cellars, Trey Bush, they have a second label. It's called the Renegade Wine Company. And then there's Trey Bush and Mark Ryan, of course, Mark McNeely, Mark Ryan Winery, Sleight of Hands. They do a label called the Underground Wine Project. I reviewed a couple of those on my program. So you look for those second labels that you can get better prices on, and it's the same winemakers. These are what they call their cash flow wines, wines where they can, you know, bring in the money a little bit quicker. And many times they have great quality. Nelms Road from Woodward Canyon, great wines. A lot of restaurants like to pour them by the glass. So now we're going to do Boomtown, which is a second label to Dusted Valley. And Dusted Valley is made one of the best Cinsaults I've personally ever had. So we're going to review a Chard, a Merlot, a Syarh, and other than the Chardonnay is a 14 vintage, the other two are 13s. Let's get started. So this Boomtown by Dusted Valley, says it right on the front, so it doesn't make it hard to figure that one out. Chardonnay, Washington State, which basically means they get the fruit from anywhere in the state, not Appalachian specific like Columbia Valley or Yakima or Walloop Slope or Horse Seven Hills. It's just Washington State. This rolls in at $17 retail. Here is the label. I'm kind of excited. I haven't done Boomtown in a long time. I know the consulting winemaker, and since he's kind of been consulting them, according to him, quality has risen on the wine. So I'm excited to try them. So Boomtown, they all have twist tops, screw caps, stealth enclosures, whatever you want to call them. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a lot of apples, which is very typical of Washington State Chardonnay. I get just a hint of oak. I don't know if it does it say if it's oaked on the back. Let's see. It said nothing more than a blank map. Blah 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 blah. Sometimes sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they're informative. Sometimes they're not. It says Columbia Valley on the back. So Columbia Valley, Washington State. So interesting. Very interesting. They might get some of theirs from Walla Walla. You never know, because they are based out of Walla Walla. Get a little bit of a hint of fig, kind of a fig cross banana thing going on, which I like. Interesting aromatics. Now let's see what we get on the palate. Good acid. That's the first thing I noticed. Good acid. But it has that nice kind of butterscotchy, buttery thing going on. And apples. So it's like they dipped apples in a butterscotch butter component thing, and then you bite into the apple. That's what it reminds me of, with just a hint of pear, which is interesting. Yeah, it's like you bit into a ripe apple. Yeah, this is very balanced wine. In other words, it's good acid, good fruit. It's not over the top in any of the components put together. I think those people that like a buttery Chardonnay are going to like this one. I think those who don't like it too buttery are going to like it. I think it hits right in that middle road where you can attract a lot of people to it. It's 17 bucks, very reasonably priced. I'm going to go B+, A- on that. I think that's a very good Chardonnay. I'm actually very impressed with that. I'll have to bring that into the store. I like it a lot. Let's move on. Boomtown by Dusted Valley, Merlot, Washington State, 2013. It says Columbia Valley again on the back, Washington State. Curious what that means. I've never seen them put Could be Columbia Valley fruit. I don't know why they don't put that right on the front, but you know, I learn something new every day in labeling, especially. So it looks like it says Columbia Valley. It's probably Columbia Valley fruit. There you go. We're going to stick with that. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Merlot, 2013. Good vintage in Washington State. My understanding is some winemakers liked it as much as 12. I found some very good wines out of 12 and 13. Let's see what we get on the nose. Like it right off the bat. I get like blackberries and cherries. I get tobacco. I get like a violets coming through. Has a little bit of just an edge of herbaceousness on the nose. I really like the red flowers and tobacco a lot. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very nice Merlot. It's like currants meets blackberries meets just a little bit of, sometimes you hear the word pyrazine, it has a little bit of that greenness, but it's not hardly prominent. It's like kind of like green tobacco, just barely. A little creamy on the palate, which I like. I know a lot of you are going to like that. Right on the finish, there's a creaminess to it, good balance, a little bit of white pepper coming through right at the end. I like that white pepper finish. I like there's a little bit of serious tannins coming through right on the back end. A little bit of leather. The dark cherries and the blackberries kind of really linger. It's very creamy. I think a lot of you are going to like this Merlot. I think this is a good Merlot. I think a lot of you are going to be impressed with it. For $17, it's a good value. I like that leather aspect on the finish. Good weight front to back. I'm going to go B+ on that. I really like that Merlot a lot. Yeah, I think it's, you know, I would pay 13, 14 for it. 17 might be pushing into the envelope just a little bit. But that being said, I think it's still good wine. I'm going to go B+. Let's move on. Boomtown Syarh by Dustin Valley. Been nuts at work today, by the way. Just crazy at work, the store. Lots of special orders, lots of things going down. I'm going to squeeze this video in on my lunch break because I wanted to review these wines. Boomtown by Dustin Valley Syarh. Columbia Valley, $17. Close up. I don't know if I did the Merlot. Labels are all the same, pricing's all the same, so if I didn't do the Merlot, I'm sorry. There you go. I can't remember. It's been that kind of a day. You know, that's a little bigger rinse than I wanted, but we'll do it. Actually, these are a vast improvement over the last time I tasted Boomtown wines. Very impressed so far. Let's see what we get on the nose. A little bit of blueberry coming through. This one's a little more challenged than the other ones. I just get a little bit of a smokiness on the back end. A little bit of tobacco. This one a little more challenged than the other two. Definitely not as aromatic as the other two. Let's see what we get on the palate. Again, very creamy. What I like about these wines are very consistent. In 17 bucks, you really feel like you're getting a good value wine. This has like it's like blueberries meets cherries meets currants sort of thing. It's a nice flow across the palate. A little bit of red flower component on the back end. A little bit of tobacco, nice finish. I mean, it's just, this is like, these remind me of a really good sitcom, you know, like, I don't know if you guys remember, what was the name of that sitcom? We used to, Barney Fife. Can't remember. Anyway, this reminds me of a really good sitcom where you go to it every time and you know you're going to laugh, you know it's going to be funny. It's just really consistent. You feel good when you're done watching the movie. These wines are just feel-good wines. They're not like super fabulistic expialidocious wines. I mean, they're not going to write home and say you got to get these wines, but they're good. They're really consistent. I'm going to give the Syarh B+ too. I think it's a really nice wine. 17 bucks, under $20. Like I said, it's just all of these wines are just really nice wines. I think anytime you want to just, you know, buy a couple of wines, you're having some company over, you're having some friends over that you really like, and you know, you just want to have a really good glass of wine. Nothing you have to, like, you know, stop and think about and talk about. These are it. Now that's not an insult. I mean, I'm not talking glug, 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 you know, give it to your company that's coming over because you don't really care, right? No, I'm talking about friends you really like, and they like wine, and you can sit down and really enjoy these. It's like a good sitcom where you just sit down and you can watch it and know you're going to laugh, kind of like Seinfeld, you know, they were all funny. Some of them, but most of them were pretty good, and you knew you could watch them. That's what these remind me of. Just really consistently good wines. What else can you expect from Washington State anyway? Good job. Thanks for watching. And remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it, enjoy it, and never let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. But remember to try new things. That's always important. If you do that, together, we can take the snob out of wine.